So Google Docs isn't a bad platform. I use Google implicitly as well. I use everything on there. It's great to, I can just jump on and log in anywhere. I don't need to have my laptop. I can jump in on my phone. I can do all sorts of things without having to worry about carrying documents around with me or storing things on desktops or anything like that. So is there anybody else that has any sort of experience in that's got their processes recorded?
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nik Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. Excellent. All right. Well, let's move on to our main billing of the evening. So tonight is all about how to use quality assurance, a quality assurance platform. And I'm sure Mark's going to tell us what quality assurance is all about as well too, to create scalable processes and systems, that I've talked about for months, years, about processes and systems. I may not be the best at it, but I know the importance of it, and all to enable growth and profit centers in your business. Now, just a bit of background about Mark as well, and why he's here and why he's qualified to speak about this. I've known Mark for a while now. Apart from being a great bloke, spending his time riding sort of around the countryside on motorcycles and helping those that maybe are new to motorcycle riding. He's there sort of enjoying that hobby. He's also been a CEO and a general manager, mainly in the health sector, I think. But one of the things that he has been doing is that he's worked with a not-for-profit organisation, $35 million budget. We're just talking about it today. They had about 3,000 staff and they had about 20 staff actually managing all of that there on that budget. And if you think about your business, if you had a budget of $35 million and trying to run your business on 3,000 staff, how would you cope with that? Who'd still have a business by the end of the week? So it really is all about systems and processes. So he's got about 35 years of management experience. 16 years of those have been in corporate CEO and general management type roles. He's rolled out I think it was the ISO 9000. Well, there's a 9 in front of it at least anyway. Quality. So he's going to talk to us today about how we can use some of those same processes in our small businesses and medium businesses so that we can do things like walk away for a week, a month, 6 months, and the business still functions and processes without you needing to be there. So without further ado, let's put our hands together for Mark Symes. All right, you probably need to unmute there, Mark.
Thanks, Nick. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming this evening. Nick's biopsis of me is fairly accurate. Wasn't mostly in the health, but the company that I ran, the $35 million company, I actually created a health arm of that business. It was a not-for-profit, non-government funded labour hire and recruitment company. I created a health arm of that business. And then following that, I went into managing a private hospital full of orthopaedic surgeons, which anybody who's met an orthopaedic surgeon, they're interesting little characters to deal with. So it was purely my systems that allowed me to do that. But the company the not-for-profit where I learned all of my quality assurance training was in that company. It was an ISO 9001, 2008 accredited company. So it had the tick of approval and the quality stamp. We used to get audited every 6 months, and it was purely because of our systems. So we had 3,500 external employees that we ran across 5 offices across New South Wales with 25 internal employees. So there's absolutely no way that you would be able to just run a business, as a lot of people do these days, without these systems. Our systems were that tight, our systems were that finite and actually process driven that we could literally put a brand new staff member in front of a system, for instance, a new receptionist, sit her down and say, there's the process, that's how you do your job. And it was made that easy for her. It was incredible. So every part of our business had a process for it. It had policies and procedures attached. We actually ran it. So this is about business owners smashing it online. So yes, we'll chat. I'll get some input from you guys shortly. We'll chat about who's had that sort of experience and who has some systems in their business. But the online component of this, so, if you guys use any sort of online tools such as cloud-based programs to store any of your documents, policies, processes, procedures, anything you do within your business, your marketing, can I tell you, if you're storing it on your desktop on a hard drive, it's a recipe for disaster, because they can blow up, die, burn, break, whatever the case may be. Doing things in the cloud and putting everything online within your business is really what you need to do. That entire company, believe it or not, we ran it on Wikipedia, which is an open source program, which my IT manager, I was very, very blessed to have a guy that was pretty much like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. He was very socially awkward, but he was an absolute genius. And from the general manager and myself's point of view, it was our brainchild in terms of our quality assurance platforms, and we gave it to him, and this guy made an incredible job of doing what we did, right down to the point, if you opened up any particular document and you made some changes to it, it would record that Nik Cree's made these changes on this day at this time. And if you wanted to go back to 25 versions ago of that document, you could go back to that version, work out who made the changes. This system is absolutely incredible. So I've sort of kept that with me throughout every organization I've gone into, utilized it on different cloud-based platforms. That's the crux of what I've done with the quality assurance side of things. Storing it on a local server on a desktop is just not worthwhile. It's okay, but it's a recipe for disaster. If Nik was running this tonight and his whole laptop blew up, he could run outside, grab Tracy's laptop, log in, and because he's got everything cloud-based, he could just log back in, grab the whole lot, and off you go again, as if nothing had changed. So unfortunately, we're in a world today which is technology-driven. My partner doesn't like technology that much. In fact, she cries when I talk to her about things, and she, we're working through that and trying to set things up. There's different things, of document control. Somebody's mentioned there that Google Docs does that. Google Docs does a version of it, not to the extent that I'm talking about. There's, different programs that do different things, and there's many out there, but if I can get some input from you guys, and if you want to just put your hand up and unmute yourselves. Has anybody here got any sort of quality assurance or any processes and platforms in place that they might want to share and what they do? Anybody at all? Anybody got their processes in place for their business? So if you were to bring a new employee in, for instance, you could sit them.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Juanita, how you going?
Good, thanks. And you know, we do. We actually we document everything. We have processes in place so that if a new employee comes in, there's a learning document, there's little videos.
Awesome.
As well. And that's why I said Google Docs does have version control. It actually has good version control. By the way, you can actually go back to every version that has been changed. And we generally do most of the things in Google Drive and Google Docs. And we've got the intranet with Google as well.
Yeah, same. That's what I've done with mine. But yeah, I guess what we utilized on Wikipedia gave us a lot more flexibility than what Google Docs did. But again, I had a genius to set that up. So for us that are in small business, it's not quite that easy. But yeah, so Google Docs isn't a bad platform. I use Google implicitly as well. I use everything on there. It's great to, I can just jump on and log in anywhere. I don't need to have my laptop. I can jump in on my phone. I can do all sorts of things without having to worry about carrying documents around with me or storing things on desktops or anything like that. So is there anybody else that has any sort of experience in that's got their processes recorded?
Just to clarify, I was actually the Kaizen capability manager for BNZ. So that's part of my whole background.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So you would have been audited on a 6-monthly basis then, Juanita?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So we had to have our processes and things in place. So yeah, that is my background.
Yeah, so as an ISO accredited company that has that tick of approval, we were audited every 6 months. And pretty much they would not let you get through without some sort of red mark against your name. Every time we went through accreditation, we got through every single time. And again, purely because of the systems we had in place. So when Nik's talking about scalability, who is in a position where if they unfortunately became unwell, they wanted to go, if we could travel again, they wanted to go to Europe for 6 months, who could set their systems in place and bring in somebody else and say, here we go, this is how we run the company and I'm off. Who could do that? So a few people there are saying, nope, not yet. Definitely that's what I try and help my clients with. So I've taken on a new client only last week, and they're actually a counselling service. And the lady who's the main counsellor, she does about 65% of the counselling. She has a couple of other part-time counsellors, and they have some stuff in place, it's pretty good. But then talking to them and asking them, well, what's your game plan? And they said, well, we'd like to sell the business. And at the moment, the business is worth nothing because she's the business. Gone are the days now where, you're selling goodwill in a business. It's if you have your processes like Juanita's got set up and like what I've got set up, your business is far more saleable and scalable. So when we talk about scalability, I'm talking about getting your business to the point where, as Nik mentioned beforehand, where you can just walk away, go on holidays. I can jump on a motorbike, travel around Australia and know that the company will run exactly the same way as if I were there running it. And even to the point of getting it ready so what I've suggested to these folks is we get all their stuff ready, we get all their processes in place, their policies, their procedures, so that the lady who's the head counsellor and the owner of the business, they want to step away in a little while and they want to start traveling and, going away in their camper van so that they can actually do that. We get everything in a row, and I get them to the point where there's a gentleman on the top of the screen that's sitting right next to me, Mr. Colin Mackey. He's actually been doing franchising for 35 years. What this man doesn't know about franchising is simply not worth knowing. So he's been doing that for as long as what I've been doing quality assurance stuff. I would prep everything ready to hand over to Mr. Mackey, and I would say to these people, my job's done here. You now need to speak to Colin Mackey, and he could turn their counselling business into a franchise arrangement. They could bugger off in their camper van, sit there, watch the sunset, have a glass of red wine at sunset every night while the business continues to earn money for them. So that's what I talk about scalability through processes and using your online and your cloud-based programs. And it's just, someone's mentioned, Tony, that I dream about having that in place, working on it. Actually, as Nik and I spoke about beforehand, or as he said in the promo earlier on today, if you could just calendar a couple of hours per week to start documenting all of your policies and your procedures and your processes, it's amazing after, not too long a time, there is 52 weeks in the year, how quickly you would get all of that together. And yes, not everyone's experts in putting together quality assurance processes, and that's where you need the help of someone like myself or Juanita when she was doing that work. But it isn't that difficult to document everything you do. So if something were horrible to happen, if, unfortunately, if you became unwell and your processes were already documented and you had it in some sort of format that you could sit somebody in front of and say, hey, here's how I run the company, then your company will continue and you don't end up going bankrupt. And that's...
Mark, can I... Sorry.
Sure.
Forgot my video was not on. Mark, I come from health experience and I used to do accreditation for small hospitals and day surgeries. So are you talking about similar systems but for your business? So you know how we would attach certain policy and procedure to a certain criteria. Can you set your business up that way?
Absolutely, 100%. So obviously... Okay. Not the scale, Tony, of a hospital, and I ran a private hospital for 3.5 years. And as you know, they're administration heavy and just for a good reason.
Which is,
you're dealing with people's lives. So I understand why we do that. But yes, the same theory exactly. So if Tony wasn't at her business, you could have that platform in place. You could easily get someone in, and you and your husband say, you know what? COVID's over. We're off to Europe for 6 months. Here's how I run the business. Goodbye. We'll see you later. don't call me unless
Okay,
everything's
cool.
on fire. So
So if I follow some of those principles that we used in health, but make them about my business, I'll be on the right track. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Cool. Thank you.
If you've had that experience, then that's, I mean, quality assurance in a hospital, there's not much better than that. And that's definitely the way that I approach things with my clients. So even though this lady's a counselling service, you know, she's still in allied health. She's not in the hospital system, obviously, but allied health.
Yes. Yep.
And, you know, it's to have somebody counsel exactly the same way as her. Well, you and I both know that's not going to happen, but the process and the delivery of what she does
should be the same.
Should be exactly the same. So because they're the other two ladies that she has as very part-time counsellors are basically representing her and mimicking what she's doing, and they're representing her company. So now this lady's about 63, I think. I think they're a couple of years off wanting to retire. And, you know, they're basically at the moment, it's not saleable and it's not scalable. So they don't have things in place. So my plan for them, and I mentioned Mr. Mackey's name a lot to people because of experience. It's it's incredible. And I said, as soon as I get you to that point, I won't be wiping my hands of you, but I'll be stepping away a little bit and saying, right, now you need to meet with Colin. You need to talk about what he can do, so you guys can go and you know, go and play and semi-retire and still make an income while doing that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. That's fine. Does anyone else have any questions while we're going? That's fine. No? So Mr. Crypto Brownie, who's there, who's another gentleman who is at the top of his game with what he does. He's incredible. I've just started doing some work with Greg, and his products are amazing. What he does is quite different to the rest of us. A lot of people think crypto is the devil, and it isn't. So the way that he explains his crypto and what he does and how he works for clients is pretty easy, but the back end of what he does is fairly complex. So we're looking to sort of pull all that into line and make it a lot easier for people to understand. And again, I'm pretty impressed with him with his online abilities. So him and I are already playing on Google Drives between each other, and it just makes life so much easier for people. You know, instead of us sending 100 emails to and from, we just drop stuff in and out of our Google Drives, and it's a really refreshing way to see, you know, Brownie's no spring chicken, and he's doing an exceptional job of what he's doing. So yeah, it's going great guns, and yeah, he's sort of taken it between the teeth and run with it, which is exceptional. So from Tony, if I can utilize you, would you have had a flow charted system when you're in the hospital?
Yes. When you talk about flowchart, though, the hospitals were always based on the national quality and safety standards.
Yeah.
So in terms of flow, you'd start at the beginning and go, okay, standard one is blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
This is the processes that belong there. This is the policies that belong there. This is the education they need, and this is the gap analysis for that particular standard. So that's the flow.
Excellent. And with your being government based, you would have probably been on Citrix, which is a horrible, poisonous system that should have been outlawed a long time ago, and they still use it, I believe. So everything was stored on your intranet. There was nothing stored on people's desktops, and it was all utilized through the intranet.
Everything was actually stored on, I'm pretty sure that I'm not sure if they were cloud-based, but in meeting those criteria, you had to do like a pre-audit. And so you had to put all of your information onto their documents so that the auditors, when they came along, could see, okay, they meet this, and this, they've got this policy, they've got this process, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So I don't know if it was cloud-based, but it almost would have had to have been, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it would have, if not, it would have been. So Citrix it's an older program that before clouds are around.
Citrix sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's a pain in the neck, but it actually, for large organizations like the government, it works. So there's much better these days, but Citrix was in its day, it was the standard. So, and that allowed, particularly if you're within the public system. So I was fortunate to be in a private hospital, even though it was a group of
Most
7.
of my work was in the private as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So it's a little
but
bit
the
easier.
national standards apply to both public and private. So
Correct.
the standards stayed the same. The
Yeah.
way that you meet them sometimes is a little different between public and private.
Just a little
In fact,
bit
I
different.
think private did it better.
Oh, private did it much
Private
better.
did it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much better. And they had more money for better systems and so forth
Yes.
and so on. So it made
Yes.
it a little bit easier, definitely.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Juanita? How did you approach your quality assurance?
Sorry, I was just busy on another call. I apologize, Mark. So just quickly, obviously, flow charting, processes high level and then processes a lower level, having a look at where the gaps are, and then documentation for each process, and anything that you could automate, obviously automate.
Yes.
That's in a
100%.
nutshell, right? So yeah.
100%. And was there, did you, in those days, what platform did you use?
They were banking platforms.
Banking. So they're in internal banking systems. Okay.
Yeah. No, the banks only use the internal systems.
Yeah, exactly.
And they get audited quite substantially. Yeah.
We're audited every 6 months, and while painful, it keeps you honest and makes you keep everything up to speed and keeps your standards high. So
I think that's probably the difference with the small business, because obviously, you run your own business, you pull in all the things that you've learned. So I've got the processes in place, high level, low level, documentation for processes and things like that. But obviously we don't get audited.
No, exactly. But from your experience and Tony's and mine, I guess we're probably our harshest critics. And so we stay on top of that anyway. So
it's like, if you can get into the habit of it, and you can understand the importance of it, and you can understand how much you save by having everything in place. So if you get somebody new coming in, even if they're working with you for 2 or 3 weeks, there's a document, you give it to them, you say, here's the document, here's some videos that you can watch, you can 100%. Do the work. It's really straightforward.
Definitely.
And it saves you time having to go back, check, retrain them. So it's pretty awesome if you can get into the habits.
100%. And I couldn't agree more. That's exactly what we did. So with so many external employees, 3,500, to do that with 25 internal employees, where the majority were actually in head office in Newcastle, it was no mean feat. But I literally sat a brand new receptionist down in front of a process where we had about 30 to 40 new employees coming in one day for full interviews, pre-employment medicals, functional assessments, drug and alcohol screening, psychological screening, and induction. So it was a 4 to 6 hour process. And I literally sat her down. She'd had previous reception experience, but not in our industry. And I said, there's the flow chart. Every part of the process had hyperlinks to whatever document. And as Juanita said, all the videos for the induction, for the processes, for the policies, for the handouts, for the handbooks, for everything they required. And she just said, wow, this is really easy. And I said, well, if you follow that, it would be that simple for you. It won't be funny. So that girl picked up that job in a week. It was as if she'd been there for 6 months. It just made it just so much easier for her. It was dramatically easier for her to run things. So it's definitely something that we can all do. And as I said, if you just schedule some time in your calendar once a week, an hour or 2 hours, where you could actually start documenting your processes, then you can get somebody to help you put it all together. But I can assure you that once you do that, it's going to make a dramatic difference to your business. And you revisit that every now and then. Just a show of hands, who here has a business plan? Okay, how often do you guys review that business plan?
Yes.
How often do you review it?
Every quarter.
Every 6 months, every quarter? Great. And for a small business, that's not too bad. Realistically, we should review it at least 3 monthly, if not monthly. But again, being sole traders, as most people in this room would be, that's a little difficult. But it's something that you should be doing. What about budgets? Has everyone set their budgets for the new financial year? So budgets are another thing. If I can just share my screen with you guys for now, and I'll just show you, just give you an example. So I haven't given you guys the keys to the castle on my flow charting. I've just done a very basic thing. Can everyone see my screen? Beautiful. So just things like a business plan. So again, this is just utilizing my drive and my platforms to access this. Instead of going looking for it, it's right there. I've got a brief template, but I've also got a business plan template. I can just go straight into a client and open up that template. And this is blank, of course, because it's a template. And we just work through that, wherever it's gone.
With Zoom, you have to, if that happens, Mark, you have to stop share and then reshare.
Yeah, okay. So there we go. There's a basic business plan, guys. So
we're just seeing your drive at the moment, not the plan itself.
Can't see it?
Yeah, you can just see your drive with all the...
Okay, I'll stop it again.
Yeah.
Painful. Everyone see that?
It's just loading up. There we go. Yep, that's good.
Okay. So this is like a basic business plan, just dated today's date. So actually, before you go into your business, getting your business plan straight, your management, your goals and objectives, the product or the service that you're trying to provide to people, extremely important on identifying what your target market is. People just, a lot of people go into business and say, I'll just go out there and I'll start a business, and they don't even know who their target market is. It's an extremely important part of you doing your strategy and your business plan. Getting your pricing right, checking your competitors out. So actually researching the competitors. So when I first started in VX, I pretty much checked everyone out, especially Mr. Cree, because him and I have become good friends now, and what Nik does is pretty incredible. So I'll always research companies. I had 636 clients in Newcastle in that big company, and I'd always research a new client before I go into them. So checking out your competitors is a really, really smart thing to do. Going further forward into your business plans, what your company's goals and objectives are, how it will be structured, company management structure, your organizational timetable, your assets, your products. It just goes on and on. So it's only a brief plan. Competitor analysis, what your staffing is. It's really, really important that you get those sort of things straight and you get them right before you start basically embarking on your business. Other things that you might look at in terms of in the cloud-based side of things is, if I can just go back to that document and we'll share again. It works far better when I'm not having screen sharing issues. You got that, Nik? Is that coming through, Nik?
That there is your Word document at the moment.
Yep. Beautiful.
No, it's got business plan, budget, SWOT analysis. Yep.
Beautiful.
Cool.
So everything, what I'm trying to demonstrate here is, even though I've got screen sharing issues, everything in mine is stored in the cloud. It's not actually, I've got a desktop folder. That's what's saying desktop, but everything's through to my cloud. I don't store anything locally at all, because at any given time, as Nik said, I travel the countryside on my motorbike. I I think I did 800 kilometers traveling to and from clients last week on my bike. I'm addicted to motorcycles. I've been riding since I was 5. If I happen to have my laptop fall off and smash to pieces, I'd just go and get another laptop and I'd log straight in and nothing would be any different. So, doing things like looking at a SWOT analysis with your business, and just let me know if this shares, Nick. If it doesn't, I'll stop it again.
You'll have to stop it and then share it again.
Okay, cool. I'm sure Mr. Brown, you won't mind if I actually show the SWOT analysis that we did on you.
Fair enough, mate.
It's not sharing, guys. I'm sorry, I don't know why. It's just not opening up. It's pretty hopeless. I can see it, but you can't. It's gone straight in. I apologize for that. But one of the other things that's really critical that I would do, and again, do it through your online platforms, is, can everyone see that? Hopefully.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I'll try again. Should be coming up now, Nick.
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay, so this is a basic SWOT analysis that we did with Mr. Brown, and just identifying his strengths, his weaknesses, his opportunities, and his threats. Often, there's a lot of people out there in the marketplace that are exceptional at what they do. They're exceptional builders, crypto people, web designers. People like Nick that are exceptional at what they do. It doesn't mean that they've had a lot of experience in doing the back end of things. And sometimes, just like the carpenter who has the worst house, the mechanic who has the worst car, or the plumber that has the leakiest taps, often us as business owners are exceptional at what we do, but we forget to practice what we preach to our clients. We forget to put our systems in place and utilize things as we say to people. Hey, you guys should be doing this. You guys should have these platforms in place. Do we have them? Probably not. So sometimes our greatest strengths are also our greatest weaknesses. So it's important that you guys, if you were to sit with somebody else and somebody that will be brutally honest with you, whether that be your partner, your business partner, or your life partner, I do a SWOT analysis with every single client that I work with. It can be confronting at times, and sometimes they do put the hand over their face and say, yes, that is me, even though I don't want to admit it. And that was Mr. Brown when we did his. So, there's lots of opportunities for people out there. There's also lots of threats. And look, everyone in this room or on this Zoom has some great strengths, but we also have weaknesses that, if we're honest, we need to be brutally honest with ourselves and say, hey, I can do a little bit better with those things. But again, this is something that, yes, it's a spreadsheet, but it's all online. I don't do anything manual. Even when I do these with my clients, I don't hand fill them out. It's all just done online. And I send it to the client. I ask them to actually print it out, put it up on their wall, put it on their office desk, don't touch it for a few days, come back and revisit it. And then when we come back together, I ask them, how did they go? What did you think about that? And Brownie said to me, oh, Yvonne said this, and this, and she agreed with this. And there was a couple of other points. And, it's a really good way to sort of assess your business. So there's many other things I can show you, but as the sharing's becoming a problem, I probably won't show you through the systems. You get the basic idea of how it works. Again, for scalability in your business, for marketing, so some of the programs that Nik delivers here weekly are exceptional. There's many programs that you can use for your social media, for posting to social media platforms. There's some ones that Nik and I were speaking about today, like Buffer, or different things like Airtable, which is actually Excel based, Laser. There's some other ones that, and I won't tell you what other clients use. The Crypto Brownie, he uses a couple of different ones, and I'm doing a bit of a project at the moment to see for my clients what are the best ones to use, so they can actually advertise on social media, but instead of having to do individual posts across all the different platforms and having to do them on a daily or weekly basis. They can be all scheduled, go across multiple platforms. And again, it's about using what's online and what's available to you to actually make your business more efficient and more effective. So there's Juanita's putting some up now. I know Juanita does similar things. What I do to clients: Sprout Social, Meet Edgar, Hootsuite. That's another one Nik and I spoke about. So there are many online tools out there, and if I can, basically impart anything as well as the quality assurance side of things onto you guys, use as much online platforms as you can. That's going to set you up for efficiencies, but it's also going to set you up if you've got all your ducks in a row. If you had, so what Tony was used to and what Juanita and I were used to, a proper intranet set up within your business where you can just go and put your finger on whatever you want, whenever you want it, your business is now far more saleable than it was if you didn't have it. So, we're all small business owners. Probably I'd suggest less than 5 or 10 employees, and, some are sole traders. And if you don't have that sort of thing in place and you're trying to scale your business up and you're trying to sell it, what are you selling? Once Tony leaves her business or Juanita leaves her business, what's there? There's nothing there. So the lady with the counselling service, I said, what are you selling? You're not selling anything. You're the business. So if we got her to a scalable point where she can walk away from it, as Nik was saying beforehand, and I hand it over to Mr. Mackey and he puts his friend system in place, then they've got a totally saleable asset, but more importantly, they've got an asset they can still own, but not have to be there running it. And that would be because of their systems that we put in place. So probably that's about all, instead of going through everything, Nik, that I can, I'm happy to answer plenty of questions and field any questions that you like.
In terms of systems, you spoke about, where to store them, how to store them. Well, you sort of touched on that. What would be your recommendation in terms of, where to store your documents in terms of, processes
sure.
and procedures and that side of things?
Definitely. So whatever cloud, and most people have a cloud-based program at the moment. I use Google Drive implicitly, just as Juanita does. Some people use Dropbox. There's many other, OneDrive. There's many other online platforms. My Google Drive has, and I've bought additional space on that, so I'm not going to run out of space, and it's really, really, really cheap. It's just not expensive at all. So my entire intranet, all my policies, procedures, my flowcharts, everything lives on my Google Drive. So the opportunity for Google to ever go down, there's probably more chance of it raining gold. They have acres and acres and acres of servers worldwide. It will probably never go down. So you want a platform that's solid like that, an online platform, a cloud-based program that's solid like that. I use that just because I use that. It's not the best, but I've found it, for me, it's really, really simple to use. I've set up the platforms on there, and you can give. My other thing that I like about it is, with my different clients, such as Brownie, such as Colin Mackey, quite a few other people, we share things between us. So we share the folders relative to that business. They can't see the rest of my drive. They can't see the rest of my clients' figures, facts, processes, policies. It's all private, and it's really, really effective. So definitely, Nik, anything along those lines that you could possibly utilize online rather than storing it locally, or even storing it on a hard drive and even backing it up of an evening, that's very 2000. I think we're way beyond that now. And it's fraught with danger. Even though when I was in the hospital, we'd take a hard drive home in the evening. What happens if I mistakenly left the hard drive in the car and the car caught fire, or one of my kids broke the hard drive and there was a fire at the hospital? It just wasn't secure. So I actually fought with the directors and the surgeons for a couple of years to get it to go to the cloud. And then once we did, they said, why in the hell didn't we do this earlier? So, it's...
You should say that, Mark, because I was chatting with someone today who we're working with, and he said that they had videos, like company videos, stored on an external hard drive, too big to fit on a computer. So they had it all stored on a hard drive. Fortunately, they'd uploaded some of them to YouTube, but these were ones that we used with clients. It was their educational material. Some was systems and processes. The hard drive got corrupt. They lost the lot. So this is like years and years worth of video. And so they had to start all over again. So had they had it on Google Drive, yeah, no problem at all. I know that when I've traveled, like when I could travel over to the Philippines, I just used to take a laptop, plug in, and everything is all online. If I lost the laptop or something happened, it wouldn't matter. And I used to log into my team in Cebu, log into their machines over there. Everything is just all up there. In fact, a friend of mine, just for fun, he used to go and wipe his hard drive on his computer and then just try and log into everything just to make sure that he had everything sort of all online, and he could do it within 10 minutes. So fortunately he could. I have done that before as well too. It's a little bit frightening.
It is.
But actually doing it means that you've got a really good, robust system. The other thing I'd like to also, if I can just add something else to it as well, I don't want to take over what you're doing, Mark, but just to add to what you're doing with Google. I'm a Google person, so today it's called Google Workspace. Google Sites is a great place to also store your documentation. It's all part of G Suite. I think Microsoft 365 has something similar as well. But if you upload all of your videos to Google Drive, they're all protected there for just those who require access. You can actually embed those videos into Google Sites. You can put all your sort of steps and documentation in there, so you don't need to store them anywhere else. You don't need to upload them to YouTube or to Dropbox or to anywhere like that. You can use Google Sites for your documentation and just draw all of the assets from inside Google's ecosystem. And if you've got a team member that leaves, you just cut off you just delete their account, or just change their password. They've no longer got access to it, so you don't have to remember passwords or all that sort of stuff there. So definitely concur with you about using that Google platform.
Yeah, I'll give you another quick example, Nick. So my partner's a 32-year teaching veteran. She sets Queensland education standards. She has a 2 terabyte hard drive with over 30 years worth of resources on it, and it's corrupted, and we can't get it off. So I'm actually trying to source a specialist now so that we can hopefully recover that data. But if we can't, all of those teaching resources are gone. They're history. So had that have been on the cloud program, again, as Nick just said, the whole world could have blown up. It could have gone on board another PC, logged straight into a Google Drive, and it would have been there. So yeah, I can't, if nothing else from tonight, even if you don't go and do your processes, I strongly recommend you guys get all of your ducks in a row and get it all onto a cloud-based program somewhere.
And if nothing else, there's a program out there. I'll just bring in another app and tool if I can, called Backblaze. So let me just grab the link to that. And I've used this for years. So Backblaze is your redundancy. So that, and my computer backs up. So it's a backup service, an online backup service. So I use, Google Drive. I've also got a Dropbox as well. I hardly use that. But Backblaze just keep backing up in the background. Even though I've got everything in Google Cloud, if anything ever happened to Google, I've got it all in Backblaze. It costs me about $100 a year or something like that to have that. So I've just dropped that link into chat there as well. And I'll definitely recommend, people do that. If your computer goes down, so let's say it gets corrupt and you can't get into Google because they've locked you out, or something like that's happened. Anyone's been on Facebook knows that Facebook does that sort of stuff. Then you can just contact Backblaze. They'll send you a hard drive with all of your information on. You can sort of upload it to your computer, to the cloud, to wherever. Send the hard drive back. They'll refund it to you, and you've got all of your information. So that's a double redundancy backup. So anyone's using media files, really important, I think.
Mm-hmm. And look, if you're going to set up your intranet on some sort of cloud-based program, and because we all have 375,000 passwords for everything these days, please don't have a folder in there that says passwords, okay? Call it something different, because on the off chance you do get hacked, it's a problem. So you can call it access, you can call it pink tutu, whatever you want. Don't call it passwords, okay? Protect your passwords, because we all have a lot of them. And once they get in, I've actually, before they listened to me at the hospital, before we went cloud-based and before we had a higher level of security, we did get hacked, and they tried to extort us for all of our data, and I wanted quite a bit of money for it. So yeah, absolutely. There's many cloud-based things that you can use for passwords as well, but definitely don't store them in a folder called passwords.
Yeah, I've just dropped in a link there to LastPass, which is one that I use.
Yeah, cool.
And the other thing along with that too is don't use the same password for everything. So if you use the same password for your banking, that you log into YouTube and all that sort of thing there, that's a recipe for disaster, particularly today, because the hackers are very, very clever today. And they've got, and you can find online scripts to allow you to be a hacker to go and get people's passwords and things like that there. So they're available online. I've been there, I've downloaded them, and they work. So you're best to get something like LastPass and just use a unique password every single time. I can't remember. The only password I remember is my password to LastPass. If you lose that, it's not good.
So my partner has multiple passwords for school and her own business as well, and has to change them regularly to do with school. So she's actually bought off the internet, and this is without a word of a lie. It's My Book of Effing Passwords. That's the cover on it. And it's just a paperback book, handwritten, with all of her passwords in it. So, that was becoming an issue with the passwords, and it cost her, I don't know, $15. And it's, a little bit of fun, but hey, it actually works. There's no issue. She loses it, she's straight to the password book. So, yeah, not online. You can't carry it with you, but it works for her at home because she works from home a lot. So, is there any other questions, guys? Anyone?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a couple of points. Thanks, Mark, for the commendations. I think we should form our own mutual admiration society. I think that'd be a good idea. As Mark mentioned, I'm in franchising. Franchising is very maligned. So much negativity out there about franchising. And it's not true, but one of the statistics that's really important and relevant to what's being said tonight is that it's 82% of all independent businesses fail in the first 5 years. 82%. That's a huge percentage. Only 4% of franchise businesses fail in the same period of time. Why? And the main and simplest answer is that franchise systems are all systemized. That's why it's a franchise system. So when the franchisee buys his franchise, he has a manual with every single thing in it that's to be done. So even if you don't intend to go franchising, what Mark's explaining to you here today, you need to put the systems in place where everybody, so you can go off on your holiday or your motorbike and your business is going to tick on at the same time. So, 100%. And if anybody wants to speak to me about franchising, please feel free.
I've actually seen and I've seen Colin present a few times, and we've also become friends, and we're doing a joint venture together. But I've actually been through his systems, and from somebody that's a quality assurance freak like me that's worked so, his systems are impeccable. They're absolutely amazing. So you could get somebody that knows absolutely nothing about franchising, again, sit them down in front of this and they could easily do it. So if you guys want to talk to anyone about franchising and scaling your business in that direction, talk to Mr. Mackey about it.
Thank you for that. The little joint venture that Mark and I are doing, or one of them, is I'm putting an online program together of 6 modules all about franchising. So it's designed for whether you're a university student or whether you're a consultant or a lawyer or an accountant or a business person wondering what's the best alternative. So these programs should be available fairly soon, I think, Mark.
Yeah, I think the videos, Craig Leith from Fantastic Films has filmed Colin doing all the intros for it. They should be available this week, and then we'll start marketing them and making them available to people. Is there any other questions from anyone? Back over to you, Nick.
All right. Well, I think sort of everybody's sort of now thinking about where do we start? So, yeah, look, excellent information there. I think so. I sort of hammer on about systems and processes and things like that. I'm not the best at putting them all together, and having sort of people that know how to do all of that and to guide you through the process. I don't think it's that difficult, is it, Mark? It just requires persistence and setting aside time to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So putting that time aside, as Nick and I spoke about earlier today, even if you just did an hour a week, I mean, that's probably not enough, but it's better than nothing. If you were to do 2 hours a week, let's be honest, we all don't have the amount of systems that Tony or Juanita or I had working in the corporate world. So, if you were to put 2 hours a week aside, rather than, watching Days of Our Lives or whatever the heck we watch on TV. I don't watch TV, but, whatever you're doing, still go for walks, still spend time with your partner, but just schedule that time physically in your calendar. Again, your online Google Calendar. Don't schedule it in a diary. Those things are poisonous. Put it in your calendar so it actually reminds you. It comes up and taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, today you've got to spend time working on your systems. It will prompt you to do it, and it's just going to become part of your normal working week. And once you get that together, I'm happy to speak to anyone about it. Doing the platforms is a little more difficult. It depends on the level of online that you want with them, but you can put them together. I've got some fairly good flowcharts, templates that you can utilize. And again, once you do that, then for you guys to scale to get to the point where you either expand exponentially or you want to bring other employees on, as Juanita said, it makes your life so much easier. You're not spending time wasting, not that training is wasting your time, but you could be spending your time far more productively rather than sitting there running through processes and procedures with people. So
excellent.
That's it.
Any last questions? 1, 2, 3? No, done. All right, let's give Mark a massive round of applause for sharing his wisdom and information tonight. That's been awesome. So that's given me a bit of a kick up the butt to go and do a few more things and book in a bit more time. Actually, I spent 2 hours this morning creating a system. I'm really excited about it as well too. This was, anyone here use Zoom and wonder how to get, if you're using Zoom meetings, wonder how to get your people that register into your CRM? Because Zoom doesn't have an integration to do it.
No, they don't.
You can't, and you can't sort of do it through Zapier or whatever, but I did do it through Zapier today. So it took me 2 hours to create an automation for that, which means that Lorena, who's on here, doesn't have to go and export it all out, export the file out as a CSV, go and import it into the CRM, tag it and all that sort of stuff. So I now have the automation that pulls it out of Zoom and into your CRM, even though they don't allow you to do it. So if you want to know that, just shoot me a message and maybe I'll do that one day. So yeah. But yes, those systems are great. We worked out that's probably going to save about, what do we say? It takes about 10 minutes to do all that there. So do that every week. That's 520 minutes to do it. So that 2 hours that I spent doing it has saved well more than that sort of time. Doesn't sound like a big thing, but it makes a massive difference if we go and do one of those a week. If we do that, so for one of those a week, that's 5,000 hours a year that we save. All right, so we do have a prize draw for tonight as well too. So Mark, what have you got for us? You probably need to unmute because we're reading your lips at the moment.
Okay, sorry about that. So I've just donated to Nik a voucher, so 2 hours consulting with me. So my corporate rate I usually charge $315 an hour plus GST, so it's $630. We'll do a full SWOT analysis on your business. Ron just asked where would I start as a new business? That's the place I would start. I'd do a full SWOT analysis on your business and see what you actually required. We'll pull it apart. I will be brutally honest. I won't be horrible about it, but I will be honest with you and say, hey, you probably need to pick your game up on this and you need to adjust this and do this a little differently or whatever the case may be. But it will actually force you into looking at your entire business and what you are doing and what you're actually not doing. So awesome. Yeah, I've given that to Nik for this evening. So happy to work with anyone that wins that.
I'm happy to give it away as the door prize because I'll be too frightened to go and see Mark and sort of get him to expose what I'm not doing.
I already know what you're not doing.
I know you do. All right, so all of our names are in the wheel of names here. So let's see who our lucky winner is. Spin the wheel. And the winner's Crypto Brownie.
Can we do another spin? He's already got me.
Since he's already got that, yeah, we can draw it again.
He's already got me for free.
I love you so much, mate. More time with you.
Very funny.
All right, the next winner is Jaslyn Price.
Excellent.
Are you here, Jocelyn? Remember, you have to be here to win it.
Yes, I'm here.
You are fantastic. Excellent. Excellent. So if you just open up chat there, just drop your name and details into Mark. There's a little 2 box there. You can find Mark's name in the 2 box in that message center there, and then you can just shoot him a message with your details so he can be in touch. And we've also got Aldrin, who is here, and she's got a couple of tickets to give away too. What have you got? Something to give away, Aldrin? Tell us what it is.
Thank you, Nick. It's the Free Publicity Secrets Masterclass. It's a 4-hour intensive teaching you how to get free publicity in online and offline media. And the next event is on August 18, 6 to 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. First time doing a night event. Tickets valued at $97, so we've got 2 to give away tonight.
2 tickets to give away is to get free publicity. Well, who doesn't need free publicity these days? You know, it's hard enough to even get out there and, be out sort of physically being seen. So free publicity is a great thing. All right, let's draw that. So we got 2 tickets for this. Drum roll, please. Lucky winner is, looks like Colin Mackey.
Well done.
There you go.
I've already done this course, which was brilliant, and anybody who's not done it needs to do it. Can I resubmit this again for someone else?
You can indeed. Yes, I remember you winning this before.
Yeah, that's right. It was brilliant. Very, very good information.
Thank you, Colin. I'm happy to offer you a media strategy session instead, Colin, if you'd like, one-on-one with me. We can have a chat.
Oh, I'd love a one-on-one with you.
All right, fantastic.
Your place or mine.
And we have for the media session, then the ticket there is Thomas Dean. Are you here, Thomas?
Yeah, I am. Is that the same one that we did last week?
Last month or last week? Yeah, I'm doing one a month at the moment. So yes, you've attended it as well. So there we go. We've got some lucky winners who've attended. So if you'd like, I can also offer you a one-on-one strategy session. If you like,
that'd be good, Audrey.
And if you want to redraw the other 2, Nick, for anyone who hasn't attended, the 2 that haven't attended, I'm sure everyone here hasn't attended.
We're going to get through everyone now because everyone's been to your workshop, haven't they?
Yeah.
All right. Looks like Tony Lontis. Do you need any free publicity, Tony?
He's muted. You're muted there, Tony.
Awesome. Well, Tony's still here.
I've been to Albans, so they do it. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, that's great. So many people have attended. That's awesome.
Debs, you're famous already, so this free media server is working well. Ron, have you been to one of these before?
I think Ron has as well. I'm sure everyone else hasn't.
Yeah, I have been.
All right, well, let's keep going, shall we?
Okay, so anyone who's won one, we can do a strategy session. I'm happy to offer that to anyone who's won a ticket who's attended.
All right, David Bates. Are you here, David?
David.
Which I think David has just ducked out. He has indeed. All right. Oh, are you there, David? No, I think he's disappeared.
Okay.
That'd be great for David, actually. All right, Natalie Lynch. She's gone too. I think this is the biggest draw we've ever had.
I think it is. Oh my goodness, so funny.
No one leave, just stay. All right, Shari. Are you here, Shari?
Yay, Shari's.
That's one.
Just unmute yourself.
There's a winner.
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. You are the lucky winner.
Yay.
Thank you.
And you haven't attended yet, Shari. So
I'm excited.
That's awesome. Okay, great. You're going to love it. We only have a 10-minute break, so it's intensive. So we'll take lots of notes.
All right, one more, and I think Aldrin's going to win her own ticket.
Yay! Awesome! Yay! Classic.
Crazy.
Okay, so Shari,
Here
I'll
we
send
go.
you the Zoom link on Messenger.
Thank you.
And Nicholas G, are you here?
Yeah, I am actually, yes.
You're there. Fantastic. Have you been to one of these?
I don't think so, no. No,
Excellent.
I have seen Alwyn speak before, but I've not been to one of these sessions.
Awesome. Well, you're in for a treat. So workshop is really good. I've done it. So lots of people have done it actually, and it is good. And I got free publicity. Well, I keep on getting free publicity, so it's all good. Excellent. There we go. There is our draw for the night. That is Business Owners Smashing It Online for another week. We'll be back here, same time, same place. I guess we're not going anywhere because we're stuck inside these days for another topic next week. Let's give Mark another big thank you for sharing it with us tonight. If you want to get in touch with Mark, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
I'll just dump my details in the chat, Nick.
Okay, so he'll throw his details into chat. Remember to save the chat before you leave by clicking the three little dots in the bottom right-hand side. There we go. So just wait until Mark's dropped his details in there. Just remember also, if you're interested in that new crypto coin that's been launched supporting the Wish charity, that's on Sunday. That link is also in chat. So I'll be there. So I'll be curious to sort of see what it's like to be on a crypto launch and to learn a bit more about it. All right. Well, that's a wrap for this evening. Go and have a great evening and look forward to seeing you online again, seeing you back here next week or wherever we happen to be in this Zoom world of ours at the moment. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nik Cree, spelled Nikree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.